Hello, everyone. Okay, what are we looking at today? Spellcaster's Judgment is gonna start off against Dragon's Roar. I think Spellcasters is gonna take this one. Dragon's Roar is a little shaky, and so far Spellcasters have had a much better performance in this tournament. They're not starting off very good. Dragon's Roar going with a creature swap. It's gonna give them a pretty early advantage. Ooh, Spellcasters deciding to pull out Ebon Magician. They decide not to self-destruct because they would rather level up. Spellcasters inflicting a little bit of burn. Breaker's gonna come in and pop some back row. And they're gonna take out the Armed Dragon before it levels up. Breaker gonna get removed from the field. Ebon Magician continuing to do a little bit of burn, but it's probably gonna get taken out this turn. Royal Magical Library switching to attack mode. Dragon's Rage piercing for 1900. I think dragons just want to potentially get that card draw effect. Magical Blast being used. And they're gonna punch out that library. Chaos Orc hits the field, is going to try to banish the Luster Dragon. Interdimensional Matter Transporter is going to make it dodge that effect, though. And then we immediately double tribute for the Dark Magician. I think they should have kept Chaos Orc around, but... So what this is about, Darkness, is I am pitting... I'm playing Arc 5 Tag Force, and I'm pitting the first 32 structure decks against each other in a double round robin. So that means every single deck among those 32 will face each other at least twice, and it's kind of a much grander scope than the first time I did this, which was just the original 10. Hello there, Myron. Ooh, no level up for Armed Dragon. Dark Magician right now has command of the field. Swords of Revealing Light is gonna buy Dragon's Roar some time. Right now, Spellcaster's Judgment definitely in the lead. I think Dragon's Roar's only hope right now, since it seems like they're out of level 5s, is to get Darkness Dragon on the field. Heavy Storm chaining a Ceasefire. It's only going to deal 500 damage, but it does wipe out a Magic Cylinder and a Magical Dimension. Both could have been problems. We got Graveyard from the 4th dimension. Spellcasters right now is at an even 50% win rate. It is listed on my list as being in 14th. But it is going to be taking this round. Yeah, for a deck that was, like, revolved around Red Eyes, they sure put, like, an interesting amount of level support into Dragon's Roar. Alright, let's see if Dragon's Roar fights back in round 2. Dragon's Roar starting out with a reload, never a sign of confidence. Blaze of Destruction is right now in 21st of 32. It's technically tied for 21st with a few other decks, but it has won one time, and then it lost its other 3 duels. We'll see if it can't start getting more wins today, though. Right now, Spellcaster's really running with it, using Mage Power to make an absolute monster. Dragon's Roar gonna lose half of its life here. And they bricked. They bricked really, really bad. That is going to be a decisive win for Spellcaster's Judgment. Yep, Dragon's Roar, unfortunately, could not put up a fight. Next is going to be Invincible Fortress, which is one of the undefeated decks in the tournament right now. Is going up against Warrior's Triumph. Warrior's Triumph is also undefeated. So these are, this is a pretty important match for this tournament. Hey there, welcome in. This will remove one of the undefeated decks from the pool of 4 that are undefeated right now. Doing pretty well. How you doing? Goblin attack force start. Ooh, a shield and sword, but a magic jammer from Fortress. They're gonna discard an exiled force. Invincible Fortress has to leave itself wide open to losing half of its life points on turn 3. Yeah, that shield and sword was was psychotic, but it got blocked. In comes the Medusa Worm. It's gonna take out the Goblin attack force and then flip itself down. We'll see if... Oh, no defense for it. It's not gonna be sticking around. Command Knight's on the field. It's gonna go take out the Medusa Worm. Buff up Gearfried for a solid punch directly. Brain Control. Tributes it for Hierarcho Sphinx. Invincible Fortress finally fighting back with 900 life points left. Warriors have bricked. They have nothing to field. This is going to be Invincible Fortress's time to inflict a heavy counterattack. Warriors brick again! Despite having such a strong start, that is gonna be game for them. Invincible Fortress takes a W. Can the Warriors get revenge? I thought Warriors had that one in the bag for a bit, but unfortunately they had nothing at the end there. They ran out of gas. Rhoda is going to be used to summon out a Marauding Captain. The Captain's going to hit the field. He's going to bring Command Knight with him. They are gonna run into an Aztec wall. Shield and sword being used. They're gonna punch out that Marauding Captain. It is gonna leave the Aztec statue open to counterattack here. And Mystic Swordsman, Level 2, gonna use its effect to detonate the Interceptor Cannons. Warriors are back on the offense, but Gigantes is here. Premature Burial is gonna bring back the Interceptor Cannons. He can also just shed the equip. Hierarcho Sphinx hits the field. It is gonna take out the Mystic Swordsman, but they can't punch over Command Knight. So they're gonna flip face down, shed that weakness. Exiled Force is gonna come in to deal with the Sphinx. Command Knight's gonna go to defense now. We got a set from Invincible Fortress. Nothing from Warriors. They're gonna play Canyon. You know, the greatest field spell of all time. Taza the Zapper hits the field. He can double attack, but he still can't get over the cannons that are on the ground. Shifting Shadows put into play, nothing to really use it with. We all know what's face down. Lightning Blade's gonna be put on the Zapper. That's gonna be pretty lethal if they don't have a defense for that. Ordeal of a Traveler being used. They're gonna gamble for a monster. That's what it was. Interceptor Cannon taken out by attack 1. But they know it's a monster card. They're gonna hit for 25. Command Knight is going to attempt the follow-up. We'll see if the computer remembers it's still a monster card. It does. Invincible Fortress now on the back foot. They have a juiced up Mataza to deal with. They're gonna get rid of the Lightning Blade. Grandmaster Sasuke is going to come in and immediately deal with him. Blast with Chain gets equipped to Mataza to make some extra style points. All right, Warriors, bring it back. It's now round 3 hype. Yeah, they just really wanted to make it sting. You know, they probably felt bad for losing when they dropped, like, Invincible Fortress super low and then lost. So I feel like, you know, they just had to, like, make it hurt. Our boy Aster is gonna pilot Warriors. Reload from the start. We're starting with 1 less card. So yeah, nothing playable. What can you do? Grandmaster Sasuke is gonna swing. But because the golem was face down, he can't activate his effect to remove the sentry. That unfortunately means they're stuck, but never mind. Fortress is going on the offensive, and they're going to be taking out the Marauding Captain. Here come the Interceptor Cannons. They're gonna swing, but the obnoxious Celtic Guardian is going to endure because of his special ability. But here comes the Giant Rat. Unfortunately, just the right amount to deal with the obnoxious Celtic Guardian. I have not, Guy. I know a lot of my friends have played it, and they really liked it, but I haven't played it yet. Alright, we got a direct attack coming in from the Sphinx. Giant Rat. Wow. Aster jobbed out the Warriors' triumph. Alright. In Warriors' triumph, no longer undefeated. Alright, next is Fury from the Deep versus Lord of the Storm. Yeah, I've heard 33 is really good. A lot of my friends like it. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Lord of the Storm, I see brick a lot. They do get rid of Gravity Bind right out the gate. Fury from the Deep is another undefeated deck right now in the tournament, so we'll see if Harpies can take it. That Sea Serpent gonna come in, they're gonna match, he is not gonna crash. Oh, there's another Gravity Bind. It's not gonna stick around for long given Harpies, but in comes the Hammer Shot. Harpy Girl is gonna be taken out by the Creeping Doom Manta. Sylphied's here, but can't do anything. Lightning Vortex is gonna sweep Fury. They got one defense monster left. Who did Blaze of Destruction beat? Let's see. Blaze. Did they get a day one win? Oh, that's right. Yeah, Blaze of Destruction defeated Hero Strike. Alright, that Heavy Storm. Harpy's in serious trouble. They've only got 1,000 life points left. Can they top deck an out? No, they break. I don't think Jaden would be too mad that Blaze of Destruction took out Heroes. Especially given how much he advocates for that deck. Fury from the Deep is going to take round one. Well, luckily, all the decks here are technically at full strength. I'm running with no ban list, so they get to fight each other exactly as they were out of the box. Oh, wow. Hassleberry isn't going to be the one piloting dinosaurs. It's going to be Blaze of Destruction versus Dinosaur's Rage now. He did just get jumped by them recently, but he also has liked the deck. We get some really cheery music to start out with. Backfire going to be activated by Blaze of Destruction. Mildly Upset Beast hits the field, inflicts 200 piercing damage. That is going to trigger Backfire and UFO Turtles effect. Solar Flare Dragon's gonna hit the field. It's the ultimate baseball kid. Dinosaur's Rage on the back foot right now. Will it stay that way? Solar Flare Dragon, unfortunately not protected because Ultimate Baseball Kid was not a Pyro monster. In comes the Raging Flame Sprite. I noticed Hydrogeddon did not get his search effect, which I'm guessing means the other Hydrogeddon is floating in the hand. The baseball kid inflicts a little burn with backfire, but now Blaze is the one on the back foot. Oh, there's the other Hydrogeddon. The thing is, if Blaze gets Meteor of Destruction when they're too low, we'll never know. Because they just won't be able to play it. We'll just like it'll just look like any other bricked card in the hand. They usually are smart enough to play it though. Like, you only really need simple coding for that. It's just like try to activate it. Foxfire attack mode. That's gonna be some more burn, but not gonna be enough. Dinosaur's Rage gonna take round 1. Okay. Dinosaur's Rage took round 1. So, Blaze has to fight back pretty hard. Dinosaur's Rage starting out with Jurassic World and a set monster. Meanwhile, it's going to be Solar Flare Dragon for Blaze of Destruction. They're going to attack into a Black Stego. Starter deck tier list? Probably not. The starter deck's like, now I'm gonna be speaking here with the perspective of someone that only saw the starter decks until like 2012, but like the starter decks generally like are kind of random by comparison. Like they usually would, you know, pick a character, throw some of their key cards in, and then, you know, after that, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, what fills the spot from there? So, you know, like with the structure decks, like, you know, there's a lot to talk about, like how cohesive is the actual strategy they're trying to put together. But like the starter decks were just kind of like really basic. Like I remember that Jaden structure deck was just summon Blade Edge. Like it didn't even have like any fusions. And you had like the Cyrus structure deck that released alongside it, which also didn't have any fusions. It had, you know, I think it was like Expressroid. But like, then like you'd get a few like of the Roids. And then it was just like random other monsters like Dark Blade, which it's like Cyrus never used. So like the starter decks to me, again, they may have changed. I haven't looked into them too much post like 2012. But the yeah, the starter decks to me, I just don't feel I'll have as much to work with. And I entirely missed the fact that Blaze just ran over dinosaurs with a 4,000 attack baseball kid. Round 3 hype. Revenge of the Black Flame? No, Revenge of the normal flame. Oh yeah, Blaze of Destruction is a silly deck. Like, even if you just, like... The boss monster itself is so goofy in that deck. We're opening with a level limit area B Molten Destruction and Backfire with no monsters to show. Rage also doesn't really have anything. We have a Dark Room of Nightmare. Tribute to the Doomed. We're gonna ditch Inferno. And a Heavy Storm. That might have just won the game right there. Blaze has to top deck something crazy to come back from that. That was such a huge loss. That's gonna be a big evolution pill into Superconductor Tyranno. Blaze has one turn to get its act together or they're done. Pot of Greed top deck. What do we got? Okay. They are still probably alive. For, like... Maybe... Okay, maybe not. Not at all. Okay. Dinosaur's Rage takes another W. Alright, Machine Revolt versus Zombie Madness is next. Oh, look. Zombie Master got Zombie Madness. Hooray! We got a one set card opening from Zombie Madness. It's going to be a compulsory. They're going to use it on Mechanical Chaser. Very aggressive start on that. Not wanting to take any kind of damage. They do get their Call of the Mummy on the field. This is going to let them get Despair from the Dark out. They're going to enemy controller Despair. We'll see if Zombie Madness, or not Zombie Madness, we'll see if Machine Revolt is holding on to a big Ancient Gear in the hand right now. Because if they got Gear Golem or Gajiltron Dragon, they can... Okay, no, they don't. This is gonna be bad for them. Ooh, Heavy Storm. They're gonna lose their castle. That might be it for Machine Revolt at this point, but we'll see if they can't make something work. We need something to deal with that monster on the field. Or something that'll let them keep their monsters so they can get one of their big Ancient Gear Golems out. They're gonna bring back Ancient Gear. Yeah, they still, like, kinda hold on, I think, here. I spoke too soon. Ooh, never mind. There's a Sakuretsu. They are still alive. They're going to immediately get their Despair from the Dark back. But Machine Revolt's really going to need something. I don't know if that's the something they need. Probably not. Machine Revolt going for that extra burst to end the game. I'm sorry, Zombie Madness going for that burst to end the game. Machine Revolt's just gonna take the L. Okay. Unsurprisingly, Zombie Madness took it pretty convincingly. I think Machine Revolt... Is Machine Revolt still winless? I forget. Let's look. No, Machine Revolt is not winless. It was for a while. Zombie World, Cyber Dragon Revolution, and Synchron Extreme are still winless. So we have 3 undefeated decks, and we have 3 decks that have never won. Blaze of Destruction lost pretty bad in round 3. We're immediately gonna get a creature swap for Pyramid Turtle, but we don't have anything to punch out Pyramid Turtle. Vampire Lord's gonna punch out the Pyramid Turtle. That's gonna trigger a search. We're gonna get Ryukoki. And as before, Machine Revolt is in a spot of trouble. Think that is Zombie Madness's game? Yep. It's gonna be a 2-0 for Zombie Madness against Machine Revolt. Now we're moving on to Hero Strike versus Surge of Radiance. What am I doing? Hero Strike opening with a Summoner Monk Shadow Mist. Solemn Warning on the Dark Witch. They're gonna take out Shadow Mist with Gelen Duo. Stratos gonna be brought to the hand. Widespread Ruin gonna be keeping Gelendulo safe. And now Summoner Monk is exposed. Hero Strike really has to get its game on. They're down to 3k, but they do have a near full hand. That hit is gonna blow up Galen Duo. Ooh, Hero's looking to Grand Mole loop. Negate attack's gonna stop it though. Royal Knight gonna go attack the Grand Mole. That's gonna kick them both back to the hand. Hero's gonna go for a Miracle Fusion. Hero Gaia is gonna hit the field. Divine Wrath counter. Gaia's out of here. Bountiful Artemis causes a card draw. Heroes better have something than Mole. They can't really rely on the Mole loop right now or they lose. That might... that might be a loss. We'll see. Fairy's gonna grab the Sanctuary in the sky. Mars is here at 6,000 attack, and bop. Surge of Radiance takes round 1 against Heroes. Chumley is gonna get to pilot Heroes, so we'll see if he can make Jaden proud. Air Knight Parshath is out immediately. Gonna get treated for Neo Parshath right away. The simulator I used for Duelist Kingdom was Dueling Book, since they let you play with customs. So I just made a few tweaks and whatnot. Heroes once again find themselves in trouble. Surge of Radiance right now has a pretty big lead. Neo Parshath getting so strong. He's now 7,800, and Mars is now gonna go to 5,500. Goodbye, Hero Strike. Nice knowing you. Okay, Synchron Extreme is next. And it's going up against Curse of Darkness. Starlight Junction opening. They're gonna tribute for Quick Draw Synchron. Stealth Bird's going to flip up. We didn't let its effect trigger. Crush Card did, like, absolutely nothing to the Synchron Extreme deck. Mist Archfiend is going to hit the field. Scrap Iron Scarecrow is going to stop the damage. Yeah, see, all the monsters... this is why Kaiba said in like, Tier List Video 7, this deck would not pass the Joey Wheeler challenge. Where, like, Alligator Sword actually threatens a good portion of Synchron Extreme's deck. Junk Synchron hits the field. Did we really have nothing to pull for a Synchro? Was it all just tuners? I think it was, yeah. Slowly but surely. Junk Synchron gonna go punch a wolf. Yep. Axe Dragonoot going to take out Junk Synchron. That Scrap Iron Scarecrow is keeping the Mist Archfiend at bay. We're going to tribute Plague Zombie for Turbo Synchron. Turbo Synchron changes... Oh my god. This is so goofy. Changes Mist Archfiend to defense mode, and with its 100 attack, takes out Mist Archfiend. Absolutely hilarious. Solemn Judgment for Goblin Zombie. This fight, this duel is actually insane. Dark Eruption going to pull back Junk Synchron. They're thinking they set a monster. But that Scrap Iron Scarecrow still keeping... Hello, Kato. Wait, we summoned Swift Scarecrow to the field here? Synchron Explorer. Okay, Junk Synchron is finally going to tune into Junk Warrior, who is going to get absolutely nothing from the Swift Scarecrow on the field. It is going to go punch out Axe Dragonoot. Stealth Bird is going to swing. Then it's going to flip itself face down. Can Synchron Extreme get its first win of the tournament? The Scrap Iron Scarecrow is finally removed, though it's probably a little too late. Because they still don't have anything to deal with... Oh. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Prometheus tries to take it out. Junk Warrior, however, gets bolstered. And wins the battle. Plague Spreader Zombie is going to jump back to the field. Jet Synchron is going to jump back to the field. Rush Warrior is going to jump back to the field. Or sorry, no, it's going to send Quick Draw back. They're going to tribute Jet Synchron for Fluor Synchron. Ooh, that's going to be a Scrap Fist. Gonna double to 4,600, deal 4,000 damage. And then destroy Spirit Reaper. Curse of Darkness really needs to top deck. They call Ectoplasmer to the field. That's gonna be round 1 to Synchron Extreme. Synchron Extreme is BMing right now. They clearly have the win con, but they are not taking it right now. They're gonna summon Junk Synchron. And then punch for game, which they just could have done from the start. Okay, round 2. Yeah, they want you to get out, God, what's it called? There's a dragon in the structure deck that can't be tributed, so he's unaffected by Ectoplasmer. But, like, he's so difficult to get out. So I don't use it for this because that version of Master Duel is still primarily relying on, like, Winbot. And that means that they need a pre-programmed deck. Like, for... If you're talking about, like, computer duels. It doesn't work very well for computer duels because the normal computer just doesn't understand how to use the cards. It will just, like, summon, and activate, even if it doesn't help it. Like, the AI here seems pretty goofy and bad, but Winbot doesn't know what it's doing, so it winds up summoning and using things even worse than what we see here by a large margin. So, if it was easier, if there was a nice, like, catch-all AI that piloted these decks better, I would totally use it. But it's running off Winbot, which is what YGO Pro uses, and yeah, they do goofy things. Hello, Nier. Yeah, I did... A while back, someone mentioned to me that, like, Edo Pro, you could do CPU versus CPU, which you can, but it uses Winbot, so, like, it was funny, like, throwing some decks against each other, especially modern ones that can summon a lot, because they will just, like, completely destroy themselves. The duels are going good. I'm actually not playing. This is computers going up against each other, and we're doing a double round robin of structure decks to see which one can be best piloted by a computer or... Yeah, like, by a computer of moderate Yu-Gi-Oh! Intelligence, and I do... Even moderate might be glazing it a bit, because sometimes they make some really dumb decisions. Invincible Fortress and Machine Revolt already dueled. Invincible Fortress took on Warrior's Triumph. They were both undefeated decks. Invincible Fortress won. And then Machine Revolt took on Zombie Madness, and Zombie Madness unfortunately just crushed Machine Revolt this round. But I started a little earlier tonight, so I might be doing a second set of duels as well. So we'll get 2 full rounds in tonight. As long as I'm not, like, getting super tired by the end of it all. There's that Crush card that can't hit anything in Synchron Extreme. Curse of Darkness once again finding themselves thwarted by Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Yeah, Fortress is very disruptive for a lot of decks. Even though, like, Warrior's Triumph actually guessed really well when dealing with Ordeal of a Traveler, it didn't matter. Like, all the stuff Fortress does is just, like, actually pretty good for an early structure deck. Scrap Iron Scarecrow is the boss monster of Synchron Extreme. I 100% agree with you on that. Why wasn't it S tier? Mostly because, like, it still wasn't as, like, reliable. Because while, like, Fortress is pretty good here, you're dealing with, like, you know, again, an average dual intelligence. Invincible Fortress, when a human is dealing with it, they have a lot easier time dealing with the nuances of Fortress than the computer does. And there were just a little bit more reliable structure decks that had, like, better tools at their disposal. Which is ultimately why, like, Fortress didn't get put, like, super high. And the other thing, too, is, like, you know, I'm writing from the perspective of, like, the characters. And so the structure deck list, like, isn't even, like, reflective of what I would rate them as. Like, what I would rate them as is entirely different, because I'm just writing from the perspective of the characters, and I'm like, do I think they would like this deck? If yes, why? If no, why? And then that gets averaged together, and if I just think, like, oh, well, like, none of them would like this, then the deck doesn't get a good rating. Someone was actually, someone in the comments said that Pharaoh's Servant in the video today got done dirty. And I'm just like, look, I still think Pharaoh's Servant is a good booster. It's just, like, looking at the cards and the personalities involved, I just don't think they'd rate it super high. Because, like, every booster is going to have, like, good cards. But, you know, not all of the booster is necessarily going to be great. I forgot what Yugi rated it originally. I know Kaiba wouldn't care for it too much for a few reasons, but... What did he rate it? Like a B or C originally? Something like that? Okay. That is a Curse of Darkness win. Saga of literally one Blue Eyes White Dragon has not gone yet. Okay. Round 3 hype. Do you all think that Synchron Extreme can finally snatch a W in this tournament? Or do you think Curse of Darkness is going to take it? Yeah, that's right, Corey. I actually almost there was a line in the original script before I trimmed it down that Aster said, like, I totally understand why Kaiba hates this card, but it was just one of those lines that wound up getting cut when I was revising the script. Yeah, I can't see why Yugi would dislike Branded. Branded lets you do some pretty goofy stuff. Gives, like, strong counterplay to an opponent. Like, so I think it ticks, like, I think Branded would tick a lot of boxes that Yugi would like. I'm actually thinking of giving Branded to a certain character in the story right now. I'm not gonna say who yet. But I was sitting there thinking, like, well, this character doesn't have a deck. Maybe Branded. I looked away and I saw that that Synchron Extreme is flooding the field right now. Ah, the top deck Ectoplasmer. Oh my god, these dimension walls. It does not save Curse. Synchron Extreme finally pulls itself out of the depths of the always defeated. There are now only 2 decks left in the tournament that have always lost. Alright, Geargia Rampage versus Rise of the Dragon Lords. Oh my god, no. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of the decks wound up getting, like, remastered versions, right? A Morphing Jar start. Wow, why did they set that? Geargia starting off with potentially a bit of a blunder. Dust Tornado gonna hit Gear Town before it hits the field. That does actually block its effect from going off. Sakuretsu Armor going to take out the Giant Rat. Rise of the Dragon Lord's going hyper aggressive. What do we got? Ooh, Tyrant Dragon. If that's a face-down trap, it's got protection against that. Yep, the god structures are eventually on the docket. They're a ways out, but if they're, like, in the structure decks, like if you go to, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki and just, like, look at the list of structure decks, you can see, like, what the order of structured X will be. Let's see. Were they not considered part of the normal structure decks? I mean, I'll probably wind up covering them. While I was looking away, Dragon Lords completely won that. Did they really win? I was looking away. Did these guys really win with the Decoy Dragon beatdown? Vortex for Vortex. I don't think... I forget if I've told this story to chat before. But, like, I used to do local tournaments. The Yugi and Kaiba structure decks are, yeah, gonna be the next tier list video for structure decks. The next time I do a Yugi Joey Kaiba structure deck tier list. Those two are actually in it. But yeah, so I used to play in local tournaments a lot. And, like, there was this one guy that he was in love with Lightning Vortex. And I do mean, like, loved it a lot. He always ran 3 copies of Lightning Vortex in every single deck. And it just so happened that when I went into this one tournament, I was running Cursed Seal, the Forbidden Spell. And for those of you who may not remember that card off the top of your head, it's a trap card that's like Magic Jammer, but it shuts off that card for the rest of the duel. And I Cursed Sealed his Lightning Vortex, and he ran 3 copies. He was like holding another Lightning Vortex in his hand. So like his Lightning Vortex was just completely shut off. Yeah, I ran it in main, I think, because most of the time, at least at the tournaments I was going to, the people I would play would have multiple copies of spells. So I just ran it in my main deck for that tournament. And yeah, no, it was very funny because he was so mad that I sealed his Lightning Vortex because he just had dead cards in his hand for like the rest of the duel. He was just sitting there. And, like, he couldn't get over my blue eyes, and he was just, like, looking at these 2 Lightning Vortexes in his hand, seething that I Cursed Sealed his Vortex. Okay, we got an Ixie summon right out the gate. Pulling Card Trooper. Hey, speak of Lightning Vortex, and it shall appear. Mausoleum of the Emperor, gonna pull Creator. Special summon back Kaiser Seahorse. Oh boy. I went to, my friends went to regionals once, and I went with them. I didn't wind up entering at the time. But I watched, like, one of my friends play, and he wound up playing against, it was like, a Reversal Quiz Magical Explosion deck. And, like, I remember just, like, sitting there watching, like, this guy go through, like, his entire deck. And it was all on his first turn. And my friend, like, had no counter for it at the time. So it's not like there were a ton of hand traps back when, like, I went to regionals with him. So I just had to, like, we just had to sit there and watch this guy go through his whole deck. And then just, like, Magical Explosion Reversal Quiz him. Ooh, the limiter removal looking to close for game. Geargia is gonna tie it back up 1-1, round 3 hype. No, locals were fun though. I liked going to them. We occasionally would do, at the locals we would occasionally do like team tournaments too. And this one time we did it, I got teamed with this, like, he was like a 12-year-old kid or something, and I had like barely seen him around the shops. I was like, oh no. And so I asked, like, oh, you know, because, you know, your synergy, of course, is going to matter. But, like, I wound up asking, I was like, oh, so what do you run? And he's like, oh, just, like, a little bit of everything. And he shows me his deck, and it's, like, Blue Eyes, Dark Magician. And it's, like, nothing related to each other at all. And I was like, oh, no. It was a very, very difficult tag duel. I did not win. We did not win that one. The yes, I've heard of Death Battle. Yep. Ooh, a Snipe Hunter fail. Not that time though. Giant Rat. Hitting the field. Oh, we're going for a terraforming. Do we have something big in the hand, or are we just gonna use Snipe Hunter? We're just gonna use Snipe Hunter. I mean, Yubel will technically be there for the pack openings. Carlos? I think you're right. I'm realizing there was no... Okay, so after this match, I gotta go give Lord of the Storm its chance because I definitely just declared them a loss after round 1. Thank you for calling that out, because I might have missed that. I mean, she'll give her opinion, but I'm probably gonna make it so Jaden is only ever gonna be, like, ranking with, like, 3 people at a time. Yeah, we forgot a round 2 match with Lord of the Storm. I think I got distracted talking to chat and totally just missed it. I think I want to have Chaz around for when they get to the booster that talks about Don Zalug. Wow, the Snipe Hunter fail again. Yes, I believe... Actually, let's look. I'll give you guys a preview here live on stream. It's Pharaonic Guardian. Oh, yeah, okay. So it's probably going to be Chaz and Alexis on the next Jaden booster tier list. And yes, we are at Dragon Lords versus Geargia Rampage. They are tied 1-1. This is the round 3. They do not want to attack into Decoy Dragon. They're sitting there wondering what to do. Dragon Lord's slowly building up a back row. Yep, they don't want the smoke. Herald of Creation's gonna walk in and swing at Red Gadget. Jasmine really thinking here on how to approach this situation. Sakuretsu. Do they go for the crash? They're thinking about it. Do they go through? They go through with it. They don't want... they don't want him to gain any kind of advantage for a double tribute. Rise is like... It can pop off. I guess the best I'd rate it as, like, personally, is just inconsistent. Because, like, you really can just pull a hand of nothing. But as long as you're able to at least get, like, Mausoleum early before you lose too much life points, like, it can be okay as long as, like, what your opponent has on the other side of the field isn't gonna, like, disrupt it. Dark Blaze gets pulled back from the grave. It's attack and defense double. It's now just statistically kind of like Red Eyes. Ooh, limiter removal blocked by Magic Jammer. They're not attacking Decoy Dragon because it's going to summon a dragon from the graveyard if they do. Oh, thank you, Sceptile. I believe it does redirect it to... Yeah, you switch the attack target to the monster that gets resurrected. So... Yeah, I would love for a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Compilation game. Like Tag Force, especially. Oh! The Geargia Gear XG hits the field. Gonna double summon. for Green Gadget. They're gonna get Dark Blaze off the field. They're gonna attack into Decoy Dragon. Dark Blaze is gonna come back out. But Geargia says no. And now the menace that is Decoy Dragon has finally been removed. Gadget Dragon is apparently in those last 6 cards in the deck. A giant Trunade for no reason. Geargia's gonna take this one. Dragon Lords takes its second L of the tournament. Okay, let's go back and give Lord of the Storm its proper dues. Slate Warrior start from Lord of the Storm, not bad. Their back row is gonna hit a Dark Coffin. That's gonna make them lose a random card from their hand. Okay, you know, good start so far. Slate Warrior going to punch out their first monster. Lady Ninja gonna just strike for that 1,100. Space Mambo gonna take out the Lady Ninja. Birdface hits the field along with Harpy's pet baby dragon. We're gonna attack into Mother Grizzly, who's gonna pull out Mermaid Knight. Call of the Haunted gonna pull Space Mambo back out. Hammer Shot gonna take care of Slate Warrior. Tempo is now in favor of Fury from the Deep. Can Lord of the Storm bring it back? That is a Lightning Vortex, discarding Harpy Lady 1. Feel like we could have kept her. Pet Baby Dragon is just jabbing away. Fury bricks another Pand. Harpy Lady 2 hits the field. Boy, it sure is looking like Lord of the Storm will win right now. I wonder if that keeps up. Zing Zen Hu. It's gonna block off an Icarus attack. Good old Swift Birdman Joe. Okay. Sure is good we called this out, because Lord of the Storm won round 2. Round 3 hype. Very delayed round 3 hype. Yeah, no Sea of Orichalcos that time either. Alright. Lord of the Storm. Okay, because this is an important match. We do have to see if Fury from the Deep stays undefeated. They do have to earn that. Oh, there's the sea. There's the Sea of Orichalcos, everyone. Turn 1, no monsters, though. And Slate Warrior's here to immediately eat a Torrential Tribute. I suppose it's not, like, the worst move versus this deck. Because, like, if they do put Harpy's Hunting Ground on the field, there's a chance they blow up your Torrential. Ooh, got a Gravity Bind. But Space Mambo here can attack under its effects. Leviathan Dragon going to immediately wipe out the field. And we got a new Umi. Lord of the Storm is in a difficult position. They brick their hand. They absolutely need to top deck something playable or they are out next turn. Mystical Space Typhoon, not really what they need right now. That is gonna be an L. Alright. Fury from the Deep earns their win. They are still undefeated. And now we move on to the Dark Emperor versus Realm of Light. Two S-tier structure decks going at it. You know, Saga of One Blue Eyes White Dragon has actually been doing okay so far. They're 3-1, so they have a 75% win rate. They were doing better than I expected them to do, but, you know, we're still pretty early in this tournament. Like, we're only 7% of the way through it right now. We have so many more matches to go before this tournament is done. So we'll see how well they hold out. Right now, though, their outlook is good. So far, the Dark Emperor putting on the hurt for Realm of Light. The loser deck that's coming up, it's Zombie World versus Cyber Dragon Revolution. Those are the only two left in the tournament that have not won a single duel. Synchron Extreme finally pulled themselves out of that pit. So this round, after this duel, actually, it's going to be Zombie World versus Cyber Dragon Revolution. And those are two decks that have not won a single duel in this tournament. Yeah, but it really should have been dragons. I always kind of cry. Ooh, Realm of Light manages to make a comeback. I always kind of cry when I'll like see a new video pop into my YouTube feed and they're like, brand new Blue Eyes, like super cool deck. But then I find out it doesn't run 3. Like, they'll just be like, it's actually better to run 2 Blue Eyes in this deck. And I'm just like, but I like running 3. Alright, Lightsworn starting with the Jane and a set card. Do we get a Wolf Mill? We do not. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Yeah, I wish Shining Dragon was a little cooler too. Granted, he's not too difficult to summon like these days, but... It really just comes down to, like, a certain... Ooh, get rid of the Torrential. That's pretty huge. Yeah, it just, you know, comes down to people, you know, figuring that 2 run better. Like, luckily the new Kaiba Man card pretty much says, like, you need to run 3 of them. So you can, like, use his effect, but... Yeah, but, like, Shining has targeting protection, which is, like, a pretty big deal, honestly. Especially, like, these days with how much, like, a lot of cards will just target these days. Targeting protection is, like, still kind of a big deal. Wolf hits the field. That all being said, if they do a retrain of Shining Dragon, I would not complain. Raikou gonna destroy the back row. Bottomless trap hole gone. Haha, yeah, no, no, I really wanted Ultimate Dragon back in the day, so I actually ordered, like, a Japanese Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Which, like, you know, my friends, of course, let me use in duels, but, like, I really wanted it so I could play it. Do Lightsworn kill themselves? No, okay, they're okay. As long as, Dark Emperor doesn't, or, ooh. Okay, no. They're, I'm like, I wasn't looking at the left side of the screen with the 3,400 attack Lightsworn. Dark Emperor almost stalls them out, but not quite. Okay, next up are 2 decks that have not gotten a single win this whole tournament. If you had the power of Solaristics, the duel would have been over on turn 2. I'm so glad people found the stupid filler villains I made to be so funny. I had a lot of fun with that video. And making their really stupid effects. Part of me has been tempted to actually go, like, program them so people can use them in simulators, even though it would just be, like, using cheat cards, but, you know, I guess that would just sell the absurdity on, like, what filler villains do. Aw, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. You know, I guess Zombie World is kind of like a Bones Joey fusion in a sense. I guess you could also look at it like Bones won and took Joey's Red Eyes too. If I had yeah, actually that's probably what I would have done. if I had Bones show up in the Paradox section, I would have him use Zombie World and be like, "Look, Joey, I took your red eyes. Now it serves me as an undead minion." Cyber Dragon Revolution does have plenty of targeting, so I don't think Spirit Reaper's gonna wall them too long. Like, if Zombie World doesn't really go on the offensive here. Oh, thanks. I GM games for a living, so I have to do voices all the time. When I'm, hamming it up as the villains that my players are going up against. Oh, there's Red Eye's Zombie Dragon. They get rid of Spirit Reaper for it. Yeah, I do. That is actually my main job. Right now I have 4 separate tables that I run for every week. Depending on, like, where you do it, like, start playing is where I do it. So if you can find, like, I was kind of lucky because I got in super early because it was around when COVID happened, and, like, I had just gotten a new job. Like, I had just switched off of phone sales, and, like, I was gonna go to a furniture sales job, but then COVID happened, and they were like, yeah, we don't know if we can hire you or not, if you're still hired because COVID. I was like, oh, okay. And, like, I found this site that was like, oh, hey, if you GM, you can totally work here and we'll pay you to do it. Alright, Zombie World is gonna take round 1. And so, yeah, like, I tried it out. I tried just, like, running one game, and it worked out, and then started running more and more until, eventually I picked up to doing 4 to 5 a week. Just depends. Yeah, start playing is where I wound up starting. It is a lot more flooded than it used to be. So I don't know exactly, like, how immediately accessible it'll be. I got lucky that, like, I got in pretty early, and a lot of my clients have been clients of mine for, like, 5 years now. So I don't need to do as much work to find, like, tables, because I just run campaigns, and the campaigns take a while. Alright, Cyrus piloting Zombie World, and Akiza is going to be piloting Cyber Dragons. Will zombies be the one to break out of the losing streak? Call of the Mummy starting off, putting Paladin of Cursed Dragon on the field. Zombie World. Duelist should have been switched, but I don't always even catch, like, who's playing who, because all I'm focusing on is making sure the right decks are in the right places. They still may be, like, there's a chance other 5Ds characters get pulled in, but really it comes down to just, like, how many characters are around. Like, honestly, Duel Monsters has a pretty big cast, and I probably could have gotten away with just sticking with Duel Monsters, and I would have had, like, plenty of, like a pretty big roster to pull from. But then, like, you know, I also really loved GX, so I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just say, you know, they're in the same universe, they interact with each other, why not? And then at one point, you know, I was wanting to do like a big like dueling video, and I was like, oh well, I don't know, it could be fun to bring the 5Ds cast in via Paradox. But at that point too, like, I'm just sitting there looking like, okay, like when I was making the Paradox video, there were already so many characters in that one. And okay, Cyber Dragons are gonna get 2-0'd. Alright, Spellcaster's Command versus Saga of One Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, Aster probably would crash out. Okay. I feel like they're likely to. Spellcaster's Command is like, at least when this CPU pilots it, it's kind of like, eh. I remember Adrian exists. He was... I thought his duel with Chaz was hilarious. Ooh, Blue Eyes going for the stall. That magical marionette causing all kinds of problems. Monster Reborn for Alexandrite Dragon. Tribute it for the Tefnuit Dragon, but that Monster Reborn made it too strong. And now it's gonna get blown up. They did also bounce towards the Revealing Light though, so... Ooh, that is a buff marionette. Alright, I was trash talking Spellcaster's Command, and now they're just like, yo, dude. Do we play this mid? Look at this. Magical Citadel gonna hit the field. Swords at 2. Bro sacrificed Echo. We tribute for face. What do we tribute for? Kaiser Glider? Yeah, we tribute for Kaiser Glider. Ooh, that bounce gonna be good. We now activate Field Barrier, not that I thought this was going anywhere. Alright, yeah, I really just, like, talked smoke for, like, no reason. Oh! Oh, no, that was a bad move. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Not here, not now. Oh, wait, no. Did they... Oh, they must have already done it. So they couldn't use their effect again. Blue Eyes trying to bring this back with the signature one Blue Eyes White Dragon. Command may have just lost off of losing Marionette. Oh, that's an Endymion. He's here. Goodbye, Blue Eyes. Ooh, Magician's Circle going for W. Oh, but Maiden comes out because of Magician's Circle. Wow. Blue Eyes is now back on the field. Soul Exchange to tribute Endymion for Rabidrat. Well, I guess Maiden can bring Blue Eyes back, but maybe should have. Yeah, okay, never mind. Command is throwing. Command is throwing really bad. Random Castle of Dragon Souls to make Rabidragon hit for game. Saga of one Blue Eyes White Dragon takes round 1. Even the AI never reads. It's true though. No. Curse that extra button press. Okay. It's just like me, for real, for real. It's a Whitestone drop to get a very early Blue Eyes. Mirage Dragon confidently thrown in attack mode with 2 back row, and it eats a fissure. No immediate follow-up, could be an old Vindictive face down there. Blue Eyes is bricked. That's going to be a Dark Red Enchanter right out the gate. This guy can get pretty mean if they're not careful. Call of the Haunted to bring Whitestone, even though they can't get another Blue Eyes. I mean, okay. Ah, yeah, that's a scary Enchanter. Spellcaster's Command is just like, I guess a random, a beatdown deck. Deckmaster format? Probably not. Oh, the honest play! Shining Angel punches over. Oh, Rabbit-Dragon. And the Tefnuit Dragon. Gonna swing in for big damage on Spellcaster's command. They only got a little bit left in the tank. And they brick. They unceremoniously brick. We summon Blue Eyes for style points, I suppose. Okay. Okay, next up, Onslaught of the Fire Kings versus Warrior Strike. Alright. Evocator Chevalier starting out. We've got a Divine Sword and Burden of the Mighty. That's going to be a pretty strong opener. Ooh, they threw a Chimera, didn't they? And a Creature Swap. Ouch. They get rid of that Volcanic counter. That's going to be difficult. They kick back Burden of the Mighty to the top of the deck. They force Warriors to Exiled Force their own Evocator. They're going to banish both monsters to get Divine Sword back in the hand. Flame Tiger hits the field. Burden of the Mighty back out again, but no monsters to follow it up. They are behind on tempo right now. Blazewing Butterfly with Big Bang Shot. Going to be just enough to get over the Flamveil Saber. Volcanic counter being used to inflict 200 damage. Both sides are now playing Burden of the Mighty. I forgot they both had it. Blazewing Butterfly Gemini summoned. It is going to pull Phoenix Gearfried out in defense mode? I'm not sure about that one, folks. Burden is going to be destroyed. Phoenix Gearfried back to full power. UFO Turtle going to be struck to bring out another UFO Turtle. Fire Kings is now top decking. I forget. I don't remember that being a restriction for Blazewing, but I'll double check it. Yep, nope, no restriction on it. He just summoned it in defense mode for, like, no reason. Card Trooper hits the field. Right now, Warrior Strike on a bit of a roll right now. I actually would have bet on Fire Kings here, but Warrior Strike. I did like this deck. I did own this one. I bought it. Divine Phoenix Sword being brought from the grave. Equipping it to Phoenix Gearfried. He's gonna swing for game. And gets it. Warrior Strike takes round 1. I do not play Duel Links, actually. I've seen a lot of, like, content from it, though. And I know, like, some interactions that happen in Duel Links. But I haven't gotten around to playing it. Strike does do a little bit of reviving from the grave. What are we starting with? We're starting with Volcanic Counter from the Pot of Duality. Classic opener, set 2. In the back row, set a monster. Backfire active. It's going to inflict a little bit of 500 burn. Fire King is bricked. Is Warrior Strike just gonna be getting, like, a completely free pass? They set a new back row. Swing of Memory is going to bring back Future Samurai. They are going for game. Kunai with Chain to DD Warrior Lady. For the exact 0 bonus, Warrior Strike takes it 2-0. Alright, now it's Machina Mayhem versus Realm of the Sea Emperor. Prohibition on Deep Sea Diva?